Greetings, YouTubers of all shapes and sizes. Today, let's answer the question that we always wanted to answer, but we don't want to spend the money, the time, the effort, because it just takes too much. What's the question? We all want the super guitar. We all want the Signature Series guitar, but either we can't afford it or we don't want to afford it. So we're going to do a little bit of work and try to make the knockoff version as close to the real version as we can. When I say knockoff, let's take the comparison. We are going to take the cheap Chinese, Taiwanese, whatever knockoff, and we're going to take the name brand knockoff. When I say name brand knockoff, I'm talking about Epiphone to Gibson. I'm talking about LTD to ESP. I'm talking about SE to the Paul Reed Smith line, etc., etc., etc. So today we're going to do that. So hang on and let's have some fun. Those of you that know me know I hack guitars for fun. I do this a lot. So this is not going to be super fair because I've already done a lot of work to this guitar to make it rather nice. Those of you who don't know, I like taking junk guitars. Here is an N24. I hacked the crap out of this N24, threw carbon fiber in it like crazy, obviously stainless frets, DiMarzio pickup that can split coils, all sorts of things. Most people that come into this room say that this plays way better than my real N4. I have a Davies sitting right there. One guy even prefers this to the Davies. Now, I don't let people play the Davies very often, but if you come by and you want to play the two real quick, I'll let you compare. That Davies is the cleanest I've ever seen, and I don't even let people breathe on it. Don't even look at it. So yeah, take an N24, make it better than an N4. Take a Hamer Slammer and make it better than a US. Better than a US? Maybe not on this one, but this is as good as the two US's I've actually played. I like it better because I like the sound better, but this thing is something special. So yeah, that's what I do. For those of you who don't know my channel or are new to this. In this corner, weighing 6.8 pounds, we have the cheap Chinese knockoff of the George Lynch Kamikaze. In this corner, weighing 9.4 pounds, we have the LTD version of the George Lynch Kamikaze. When you get an LTD, you get the right stuff. That is the right headstock. Notice that it's taller. Notice that it's skinnier. Notice this cutout right here matches what a real Kamikaze does. This one, not so much. Too short. Too fat right in here. It doesn't curve in like it's supposed to. This is not the right headstock. So if you're going to try to fool somebody, this is not the one to start with. Number two, no Kamikaze has a tilt-back headstock. That way you take one piece of wood that's your headstock all the way through your neck. This has a tilt-back headstock. Notice the scarf joint here. You've got one piece of wood that is the headstock, one piece of wood that is the neck. They are glued together. Now they did stain the rosewood. This is not ebony. They stained it a little darker so it looks like that, and it's got the two dots at 12 where this one's got the square block, but not a lot of people are going to care or look at that. The tuners are a lot lighter than these, but they work. Get to the neck joint. This neck, nice profile into the body. This does the Chinese where it's flat, looks like it could be bolted to any different kinds of body. This needs to be worked on really bad. This body, because it's so much lighter, is a little weak in the neck joint. It also doesn't have the block on it. This one does have the block. I'm going to need to put some carbon fiber in the neck joint to stiffen it up to get it to do what I want to do. This nut is wrong. It is way too high, got way too much distance between the strings and the first fret. This one came in real nice. Now I've done a lot of work to it since then, but when this one came in, it was real nice. Next, let's talk wiring and pickups. This had a pickup that was a little muddy, and I didn't really like it. It didn't have a lot of clarity. I put a certain DiMarzio in, and because this body is so heavy, this DiMarzio, which is usually a little on the weak side, it brightened up, and it's got punch, and it's got sustain, and it's killer. And I kept the ESP pickup in because it was good enough in the neck position. Now I may change it out someday. I also put in a kill switch. But the Floyd is a Floyd Rose Special. I took all the pads out. I put in Graphtec pads. Graphtec's actually gone up a bunch in price. So, and then the last thing we're going to talk about is this has the correct input jack. Comes in the side. That way you don't have to have a 40 or a 90-degree cable when you're sitting down or sitting on a couch or sitting on a chair or whatever, or sitting in the classical position. This standard Chinese right in the side of the body. This body is a little bit, and it's a little bit too thin. Needs to be a little thicker to be a real Kamikaze, but again, that's not a bad thing once we get it fixed. This has the small single for the volume knob. Now here's the problem. I wanted to test these pickups out because I wanted to see how good the pickups were. We have an issue. This is a push-pull on all Kamikazes. You have your volume or your gain, and then you pull to go to this pickup, and it push down in this position to stay with the humbucker. This guitar doesn't do that. It doesn't switch pickups. This pickup is always on, and I can't get this pickup to activate. I haven't torn it apart and tried to figure out how things are wired. This pickup doesn't work. You take metal and go blop, 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 blop on the posts. It doesn't work. It doesn't make any noise. I can't compare pickups because this doesn't work. So, number one, let's say you're a novice. You know how to do a few things on guitar. You know how to do string heights. You know how to do intonation. This is not your guitar. Don't waste your money. It doesn't play right because the strings are way too far off the frets. I did adjust the truss rod because it was wrong from the factory. It is not something you can play with. The intonation here is so bad. I'll show you a picture. It is so bad it can't be anywhere close to right. It is terrible. It is tragic. You play a chord down here, and then you play that same chord up here. Do not waste your money if you don't know what you're doing playing and fiddling with guitar setup. Buy the LTD, be done, and have the one that's closer to it. Take it down to your guitar shop, have them put in a different pickup in the bridge position, have them put in the right pickup for the real Kamikaze, and be there. Again, small little adjustments. This thing is a killer. This is going to take a lot of work to be a killer. Now, if you're not afraid of taking this out, sanding it down, and measuring how far closer you've got to put it to the first fret, this is a nice piece of wood. This is a nice neck. This is something you can work with. The body's pretty solid. Once we beef up the neck joint, once we fix the wiring, and once we put different pickups in it, it's probably going to come around. I bought some stainless steel pads that we're going to put in it, and we're going to change the radius. We're going to make it a conical compound, as people call it. Proper term is conical radius guitar. Something that's not seen on a standard Kamikaze. If you're going to do stuff like that, and you're going to really hack on the thing, then this might be a good option for you. Because it is cheaper. Now, they don't sell the Kamikazes anymore. Normally, when you find an LTD over the Chinese, it's going to be $150, $200 more for kind of a comparable between the two. If you're a novice, get this. If you're willing to do all the work and really hack on it, this one can be, you can get that $200 back. However, it's going to take a lot of work. This one's going to take me a while to get it to where I'm happy. That's my review.